Hello, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of Now More Than Ever. Today's story for many of you who have not been part of this show. Welcome back. For those of you who are joining us for the first time today, this is the place where we come see you at 7 p.m. every day to share a bunch of positive stories that we've come across through the day. And why are we doing this? Because we believe it is now more than ever that you, me, all our readers, and everyone fighting this crisis in their own way need more of these stories. We need to drive a lot of hope, we need to drive a lot of inspiration, and we need to drive a lot of initiatives that all of us can take. So I'm going to go deeper today in a very, very interesting story, which is from Pune. And this story is really the tale of two superheroes. And the way it's exciting for me is that this is where two very crucial sections of our society have come together to come up with a really, really innovative solution. So now let's just jump right into the story. Here's what happened, right? Well, in the recent past, the police personnel in Pune were reporting to the duty really worried about the day to follow, right? There's so many infections, so many cases, and especially with the COVID-19 positive cases of the rise in Maharashtra, it was natural for them to be really nervous. So in order to boost their confidence and also to, amp up the hygiene measures, Suhas Bawache, who is the Deputy Commissioner of Police in Pune, decided to set up sanitizing tunnels at the entrance of police stations in his jurisdiction. So these are like these big tunnels, people walk through it, and there's a disinfectant spray that comes in and basically disinfects people walking through this. This is, based on our understanding about how these tunnels work, we actually spoke to the district collector of Tirupur, Tamil Nadu, who says that the tunnels have overhead sprinklers that sprinkle disinfectant and helping reduce the chances of infection. And the solution used is diluted 1% sodium hypochlorite, which is permissible limit as per the WHO guidelines. Now, coming back to Pune, right? Now, to install something like this in Pune, the officials faced a very interesting bottleneck. In fact, two bottlenecks. One was the cost of this installation, and the second is the amount of time it takes to set up this installation. When the DCP did his inquiry, he found out that a unit like this would cost about 5 lakh rupees. And it would also take a long time to set it up. And he really didn't have the kind of resources and the time. So here's where a very interesting twist in the tale occurred. And in came a superhero, a farmer who came to the rescue and gave a real different spin on these sanitizer tunnels. And you know what's the outcome? What's the outcome of this whole thing that the farmer ended up doing is that he ended up bringing the cost from 5 lakhs to just 8,500 rupees. And even cut the construction period from a week long to just under 2 hours. Right? So this is how it happened. Ramesh Hirve is the man. Ramesh Hirve is a farmer who runs an agricultural consultancy in Ahmednagar. And the DCP, who also has an agricultural background, is his friend. So he was talking about the tunnels, he was talking about this issue, hey, these tunnels cost more than 5 lakh rupees, it takes weeks, how do I even set it up, and how do I help save my fellow colleagues in the police? And that's when Ramesh, the farmer, realized that the way these tunnels work was actually very, very similar to the way the foggers work in those, poly houses, those greenhouses, where you have these nurseries and plants. And he figured that this sounded quite kind of similar. So thinking on his feet, the farmer gave tentative suggestions to say that, hey, we could make a sanitizing station using just PVC pipes, foggers, and a battery-operated machine. Right? If you see those glass houses, the mist effect is usually used in the poly houses. And both Ramesh and the DCP then worked on it to design a structure that actually uses power nozzles to produce these super fine droplets of liquid And the whole thing got done for just rupees 8,500. Can you believe it? This is an incredible story coming in from Pune amidst the COVID-19 lockdown. We've been blown away by the fact that a farmer and a cop got together and solved this whole problem of setting up sanitation tunnels, which costed rupees 5 lakh, are now being done only for 8,500 rupees. It's incredible. Now, people from Satara, Ahmednagar, and other places in Maharashtra have been calling Hirve and asking him about the specifications of the tunnels. And this is how we're hoping that this idea actually goes across the country, and more police stations, more and more, public service departments are able to actually implement this, because it really costs next to nothing and can be set up in under 2 hours. When we were talking about the scale of this operation, the DCP, Mr. Bawache, informed us that at least 17 units have been installed in Pune so far. And what does that really mean? It means that more than 1,500 people are passing through these tunnels every single day. Each police personnel in the entire jurisdiction of Mr. Bawache is required to use this tunnel at the beginning and end of their duty, and at least, of course, once in between. So there's an incredible movement that just happened with two friends coming together, a cop and a farmer, bringing this amazing story to you. For those of you joining in, this is now more than ever. This is an attempt of the Better India to bring in more positive stories which are emerging around us during this coronavirus lockdown. And we will now go to our next story, which is in Kerala. And this is another amazing initiative. So Kerala mechanics have set up a lockdown helpline for emergency vehicles. Here's the thing, right? Have you ever thought about, there is an ambulance, there are these trucks that supply fruits and vegetables to you. What happens if these essential services, if these vehicles actually break down? How do you even figure out where can they go? Like, where can they go get serviced? And most of the mechanics are shut. So this whole group of people came together and they said that we will set up a helpline only for these emergency vehicles. With India under lockdown since 25th March, the only services which are, of course, working, as you all know, is the essential ones such as food supplies, medicines, and groceries, right? And like I said, what really happens when a vehicle like the ambulance or fire truck breaks down, or a cop van breaks down? So recognizing that this is a real issue that occurs very, very frequently, mechanics from across Kerala, under the aegis of the All Kerala Automobile Workshop Association, have come forward to help. Bijoy, who's a member there, actually quoted, and here's where I quote him: "Every day we receive several calls from people across the state who are stuck on roads because their vehicle broke down. We get to the location as soon as we can and provide them with a spare vehicle so that they can reach their destination while we conduct repairs." They've strategized this plan in a district-wise manner, so all vehicles can function smoothly without having to face any issues. And this is something that's not done for the first time. This association had done a similar arrangement during the Kerala floods. And you know what? They managed to repair and fix close to 300 vehicles. These were vehicles like ambulances, police jeeps, the health department vehicles, fire trucks, and so on. And right now, their focus is on prioritizing vehicles that are delivering medicine, food, and other essential services. The association has organized units in all the 14 districts in Kerala with all the tools and equipment that they need. And here's the amazing part: there are over 2 lakh mechanics across Kerala who are unemployed due to this recent lockdown. And they have now come together to help serve these essential services smoothly. So we really were blown away by the service that these mechanics are providing. It's a very sort of behind the scenes initiative, but you can imagine the kind of change that they are helping to drive. More importantly, these are the guys who are helping us to make sure that our essential supplies remain constant and we are able to survive this lockdown. So that is the second story we had from Kerala coming in. The next story that we have is coming in from Ladakh, all the way from Ladakh. And this is about doctors and nurses in Ladakh. And here's some interesting statistics that we actually stumbled upon when we started looking into this story. The first COVID-19 positive cases in Ladakh were reported on 7th March 2020. Both patients had recently returned from abroad. And here's what happened. Instead of taking her scheduled night off that day, Sering Yongsong, who's a 35-year-old senior nurse at the Sonam Norbu Memorial Hospital in Leh, volunteered to look after the patients alongside a trainee nurse. She was on duty at that time. And basically what happened here is that Angmo and she decided that they would take care of the needs since their family members couldn't help. One was a 65-year-old man who was recently discharged, and the other was a 75-year-old man. Covering themselves from head to toe, they basically went into the isolation ward, gave them food, oxygen, and medication, and they haven't seen their families since 7th March of this month. So that's been such a long time. One of them has a 5-year-old daughter who she hasn't seen for more than 2 weeks now, almost close to a month now, and they've just been with the patients all along, quarantined. And this is basically a salute to both the nurses, Sering and Angmo from Leh, for doing what they are doing, really fighting the COVID-19 attack. And we would really, really like to salute the effort that they are doing and helping Ladakh recover from this epidemic. So that was our third story of the day from Ladakh coming in. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. We will be continuously broadcasting a lot of positive stories which are coming out amidst the coronavirus lockdown. If you didn't watch our first episode, which was yesterday, just look up now more than ever. We are on Instagram, we are on Facebook. We will be back tomorrow. And in the meanwhile, if you have any requests, please just let us know. What are the kind of stories you would want us to bring to your attention? We believe it's all the more important in these times to get these kind of stories out there, to really celebrate how we are fighting against a pandemic like this, how we are bringing hope, how our fellow citizens are inspiring all of us to really take the fight to the next level. Ladies and gentlemen, this is now more than ever. Thank you very much for watching and stay tuned.